Well, hello everybody, welcome to Robert's Train Set, and hey presto, I'm up in the loft. The last couple of days, yesterday and today being Monday the 27th of June, it's been about 70 degrees, although I notice it's creeping up a bit now, but thought I'd get up here early and it's about 10 to 9 now. Yesterday spent sorting the trains out, and I'll show you in a minute. All the bits I had to take off, all the rolling stock I had to take off to get this to work. So there are downsides to I-trains and having them under control, but I think the benefits are worth it because, as you hopefully know, this is going to be an update, a mega update, but because I can run the trains automatically, I can do the updates with them running, hopefully. Right, so sitting on my new acquired work mat, that finally got one. These are all the wagons and carriages that I've had to remove from this train to get it to work, and as you can see there's quite a bit I've removed. I think you still agree I've got some fairly long trains, but yeah, they were longer. And it's really a case of it just overhanging points when they change and that sort of thing that you have to be careful of. So yes, there are compromises to be made, is what I'll say, but I say I'm loving it working like it does. And you know, I've got 4 trains running, albeit on 4 tracks, but two of those tracks converge, which you could never do manually, could you? So there we are. I'll show you a bit of the trains. I've got the cube camera there in between the tracks, get a few pictures from that, and ostensibly, yeah, it's a update, and I have been busy. I'll say that the little trip to York that I did, the video will be coming on after this because I'm hopefully going to get this up fairly soon once I've shot it and edited it, and I had a good time, I really did, so I look forward to that. And what I've decided to do, I took an awful lot of photos around York. It's the York Museum, National Rail Museum, because it's easier, isn't it, and you can sort of do it. So I'm going to put them in a separate video, a montage of all the snaps I took, so I hope you'll like that. I don't know, if I put them all in the video it would be miles long. It's going to be quite long anyway, so I thought I'd do that. So, and I'll put them up both at the same time so that you can watch the trip, because that's what basically it will be, there and back, with a bit of YouTubers in and so forth, and then pictures of the York Museum, the National Rail Museum, which is a fabulous place, isn't it? I'll just turn the camera around and show you a bit of the trains running before we get into the update, and then I will take the camera off and do it all freehand because I've got to get all round the layout. Alright everybody? So hope you enjoy the film. Alright everybody, cheers, and thank you for my new subscribers. I've had a few come on, amazing really. So thank you indeed for coming, and of course all my old ones, thank you for staying with me. So cheers, bye. Graphics of the track where it used to be, I've eradicated. So that's good. So having a look at this from ground level, you can see now all those graphics of the track where it used to be, I've eradicated. So that's good. And of course I've got all the buses and the cars and the trees and everything back on the layout, which I did. This new bit is I've extended this bit of siding, and I can now get the 411 EMU parked here, which is pretty good. I mean, obviously it will be limited how often I can take it out depending on what I've got on that back siding there, but I'm pleased I've done this, so it worked quite well. And I've just done a little support off the roof there, if you can see that. So if we follow the HST through this way down there to a stop, come back, we have a new bridge. So I built this. This is completely built out of the Stella Artois boxes, so it's a bit thinner than the other one, whereas the sides on the old one were made out of a track, the meter track box. It wasn't really high enough, so I found the trains would tend to hit on the roof, so I've made this one higher, but the tunnel is the same height that's there, so it's actually a bit lower. So I still can't send the trains through with the pantographs up, but I don't think that really matters. And I've just painted it. I did manage to match my paint, as you can perhaps see, and I'm quite pleased. And it just makes it safe, which is what it was done for in the first place. So you might be wondering why I've got the camera on the portal on the track behind the back scene, and when the HST makes an appearance I'll pan back out and we can see, and there she is. So if we pan out and follow her along, yes, we've got a back scene on the back of the back scene. I think it works quite well. So I've set this up as like a viaduct or a bridge over a valley, and we've obviously got the wooded hills quite close in this particular instance. So I'll show you this a bit more off the tripod. So as the HST makes a departure after waiting for the goods train to go, as you can see, I've made this a little bit more realistic. I can hear some funny noises. So yeah, one of the wagons had come off on the 68 train, but it put itself back on again, so I'm hoping it will stay on now. And I've been doing quite well really, except the tornado started wobbling on automatic, so I put it just running round, although it's still stopping by itself of course. And as you can see, I've got a few creases in this. This is a sticky back scene, And my original idea was to put this on with Velcro. I've got a load of Velcro over there in that white bag, that one there. But I didn't think it was going to work. This was too wiggly and warpy to do that, so I've actually stuck it on. And my main bit has come on really well, I think you'll agree. And it's not an easy thing to do, because as you try and pull the back pin off, it tears, which didn't help one bit, you know. Now I can, rubbing my hand along, I can feel that there are a few ripples which weren't there when thing, but I'm assuming that's heat, so we'll have to see when it gets a bit cooler if they go out. I'm not too bothered, and you can see I've got to, but getting around these bits is giving me all sorts of problems. So I've got creases, but I still think it's quite effective. Again, comments welcome. I'm probably going to try and fill this in with something, put some proper greenery of some sort. But thing. Now, you might have seen the 395 parked in the station. Well, I was hoping to have both of those running, the HST and the on this line. But for some unknown reason, it kept derailing, and not just one carriage, but 3 or 4 under this tunnel. So I was a bit perplexed about that. It might be the heat, I don't know. We're going to leave it until it cools down a bit. So I'll just give you a pan along thing as the HST comes through the Scenic in. And I'll also, at the end of this bit, I'll give you a little run through with the camera, you know, as though you're actually on the rails. We'll see how it goes. But I'm quite pleased with this. It's what I envisaged, and again I'm probably going to have to fill in a bit there, aren't I? But it's worked quite well. Now if you wonder why this bit's bad, I folded it on the wrong bit. I should have folded it there, but first of all I folded it there, and as the Scenic's were already on it, I've already put a crease down it. It's a bit annoying, but never mind, there we are. These things happen, don't they? And I just took it to the end of the buffer stop. So this is with my GoPro camera, and it doesn't like dark, so I put the light on, and then I'll show up how, what's the name it is, doesn't it? But, you know, it's what it is. But I think it's certainly more effective than just a painted back of a scene, isn't it? And I then put the cube on a little truck and run that along, and it's with the N7, so gives you an idea, right? You know, just a bit more of a Scenic. I think what I will need to do here, and you can see the light that's not on there, I'll have to try and get a bit of light this side, I think, if I'm going to use this as a Scenic bit, which, you know, I might as well. I've done the work. But there we are. If we follow the Class 68 with its rather long train and pan in a bit, I've finally sorted this tunnel coming out of the field. It no longer comes out of the field, it comes out of a building. Now you might say this is a bit strange, but I have found online that some railway lines do come through buildings. I will admit that they're more modern buildings and usually in a very urban environment, but you know, it does happen, so I felt justified in doing this. And as you can see, I've covered the portal in some brick paper, which I thought was a bit more in keeping with coming out of this building. So I hope you like that. And if you want to know what it is, I'll tell you in a minute when I've shown you all the graphics. So again, I thought there'd be a building for this station, so I've done this one here, which sort of breaks up the scene. And then I've done the same theme from the other tunnel for this one, although I have left the tunnel portal as it is, but it seems to work reasonably well. I don't know, comments would be welcome. I'll just I've still got my Stella Artois badge to hide the joint, but yeah, pleased with this. So whether we have the trains running past or not, in the case of the HST in the background, I showed you this tube earlier on, and looking back at my records, this has sat on my desk and bench for about a year, and I'm hoping you can read that. So it's an ID back scenes, as are the ones along there, all sticky back, and I've been pleased with it actually. Yes, notwithstanding it's sort of unsticking a bit, and this is just hardboard and paper moving at different levels, I would think. So I'll just pan in on the size. And it's that one, and there are other packs obviously, but it's worked really well. I'm really pleased. As we watch the 68 train pass through, I said I bought some new fencing, didn't I, for this country park, and if we have a look, I've got that in. I decided it wouldn't go round the signal, because that's on railway property, so finished it there. And I suspect Tornado's going to stop. Yes, of course she did. Never mind, she starts up again. And as you can see, I've got that all the way round. I've still got the preserved gates in that were preserved, if you remember. So I've got those in. And I've also put it along this bit as well, all along there. And I think that worked quite well. So I'll show you what it is. So it's a Pico line side kit, 4-rail flexible field fencing. And as you can see, it's 1080mm long, and I bought 3 lots of this. So if I just flip it over the other side, as you can see, you do have to assemble a bit of this. I obviously didn't buy any of the gates that they show in this, but you have to stick those little bits of post, extra post in between. But I found it alright. I do find it a bit flimsy. It's very easy to break it, especially where the horizontals hit the posts. They seem to snap very easily. Unlike the Hornby one, which is what I've used on all of the rest eventually, didn't I, if you remember? So yeah, but it's worked, and I'm happy I've got it. So there we are. So yes, I've got a wonky sign on the end of my flats, but it doesn't matter, because this was the original Dragon Junction card that I was given. And when I went to York the other day, Alan gave me a new one to put up. So it's only done on blue tack, so it's not a problem. So I might get that up in a minute and show you it on there. So out with the old. And in with the new. So I hope you're happy, Alan. Yeah, thank you very much for these gifts. I've got a spare one as well, and those couple of badges, so much appreciated. I'm sorry I don't have any of this to give to you, but I don't go in for all that, I'm afraid. But I've got the Mallard mug, so I was quite pleased to get that.
Well, that's it, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed my update, and I'm quite pleased with what I've done. Comments have been welcome. Cheers, everybody. Cheers.